Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to November 13th, 2020. In this video, Democrat Senator Ben Cardin, representing the state of Maryland and ranking member of the U.S. Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, reveals his efforts to include funding for small businesses in the next disaster relief package, explicitly calling for another round of Paycheck Protection Program loans, but failing to call for the Small Business Administration's full disbursement of the $10,000 Economic Injury Disaster Loan Grant to all legitimate small business applicants pursuant to S.4227 and the SBA Lifeline grant. Yes, we'll take that too, which constitutes the lesser of $50,000 or 6 months of revenue minus cost of goods sold for businesses with 50 employees or less that can show a revenue loss of 30% or greater during an 8-week period between March 2nd, 2020 and December 31st, 2020, when compared with an 8-week period prior to March 2nd, 2020 or in 2019. CNBC reporter Becky Quick started her interview of Senator Ben Cardin by stating that any disaster relief package passed by Congress during the lame duck session of this Congress and the presidency will have to be as a result of a smaller deal. Senator Cardin stated that right now the situation is desperate. Legislation has to get done. There are record cases of the virus. The pandemic is negatively impacting the economy. Small businesses are suffering. Therefore, Congress has to get together and pass legislation. He cited how Congress was able to be successful in passing legislation in mid-March. However, now everyone has to work together to pass something just as dramatic. And he explicitly called for another round of Paycheck Protection Program loans for small businesses, more money for state and local governments to help small businesses and American families need resources, aka money, to participate in the economy. Then he argued that a number of small businesses will go under if they do not receive much needed help in the next few months. Then CNBC reporter Becky Quick stated, she echoed his sentiments and stated that yes, businesses are suffering, American people are suffering, have lost their jobs, state and local governments need help. However, she asked him whether this is the case where if everybody doesn't get help, then nobody gets help, because Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has been very clear and explicit in stating that any proposal during the present stimulus talks will not be as generous as Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin offered at the table for negotiations for the next round of stimulus before the election. Then Senator Cardin stated that him and his colleagues are working as hard as they can to get as much as they can done. However, he's willing to sit down and take a look at what is possible. And he does not understand Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, because right now, people are suffering. Everyone is desperate. It's a desperate situation. Small businesses will not survive if the economy does not recover, if the federal government does not get the virus under control. State and local governments also need funding so they can help small businesses, so they can help people. Becky Quick then asked Senator Cardin whether this is going to be a case where Congress passes a smaller package now, then revisits in January to pass a bigger package. Senator Cardin stated that he doesn't know, because you know the on and off nature that President Donald Trump has approached negotiations. He cited how Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell keeps trimming the package down, that cases of the virus keep going up, while Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell wants the federal response to the virus to be smaller and smaller. And right now, as virus cases are spiking, the American people are demanding a bold stimulus package. And therefore, he is hopeful that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will pass something that is bold and present that to the U.S. Senate. Becky Quick then voiced her skepticism on Senator Cardin's hope of having Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell bring a bold package to the Senate floor based on Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's recent comments and his comments over the past few months. She's just trying to give everything a realistic view. Then she stated how CNBC spoke to a restaurant owner earlier today, and he stated that his 50 restaurants will go under if the next round of stimulus is not as generous as the first round of Paycheck Protection Program loans. Then Senator Cardin stated that he is actively negotiating with the House of Representatives and Republicans to include funding for small businesses in the next disaster relief package. He said right now the challenge is to see how many resources he can get and how he can fit that in an overall package. However, he's willing to sit down and reach a reasonable compromise. However, he repeats that if the economy does not get on track, then small businesses will not survive because people who are unemployed will not have money to go spend at those restaurants. So therefore, he's going to take it as far as he can. However, they need more money for state and local governments. They need more because they provide programs for people and for small businesses that they are unable to provide right now because they don't have the money to go ahead and fund these programs. And he states that in the meantime, businesses are going to go under and the economy is continuing to be negatively impacted unless the federal government passes a comprehensive package. CNBC reporter Becky Quick then veered the conversation towards the politics because she contends that it is the politics that brought us to the situation where all parties rather, were not able to cut a deal for the next disaster relief package prior to the election when much help was needed. She cited how Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell does not want to do anything, and she asked Senator Cardin whether House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will continue to stand firm on her position that she will not move on anything. That does not include everything that she thinks is necessary, because if that's the case, then nothing will be passed because the lame duck session of Congress will sit on their behinds as Americans suffer, as small businesses suffer, as state and local governments continue to need help until the next Congress is seated and the next president is inaugurated. Becky Quick asked Senator Cardin, what are the odds of passing the next round of stimulus before the inauguration? Senator Cardin argued that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has proved her willingness to compromise by slashing her $3.4 trillion demand from the HEROES Act that the House passed in May to the $2.2 trillion HEROES 2.0 Act that the House just passed. And Becky Quick stopped him and stated that both sides are still trillions of dollars apart. And she also acknowledged that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell crazily went out to state that he did not want a package over $1 trillion, calling for a $500 billion package. However, now legislators, public officials have lost the White House in these stimulus talks, and the hurdle just keeps on getting higher and higher. Then, Senator Cardin stated that, make no mistake, the White House is still engaged in these talks. And yes, he acknowledges that the White House was a lot closer with the Democrat demands for the next disaster relief package, and he hopes that all parties can get that close again. Now, this is Democrat Senator Ben Cardin, the guy who is working and trying to get as much as he can for small businesses, according to this interview today. Remember, as I've told you, and I've proved to you several times again, I'm going to show it to you again. Senator Ben Cardin, together with Chairman of the U.S. Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, and other members of the U.S. Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, worked together to engineer the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Grant Program. They wrote the law, and they gave the Small Business Administration the discretion to disperse the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Grant however they wanted. Let's go ahead and read the congressional record, just in case you don't believe me. Here it goes, directly from cardin.senate.gov. Bipartisan cooperation. First, I already mentioned Senator Rubio. I thank him for his leadership. This is Senator Cardin addressing the Senate. The two of us were working together well before this week, and that's why we were probably further along on helping small businesses than the other parts of this package dealing with the various economic areas. Senator Shaheen was a valuable member of our team. I've worked with Senator Shaheen on small business issues for a long time. She was a key player in putting together the package that we have. I also want to acknowledge Senator Collins. It was the four of us that were meeting regularly, communicating regularly, and we recommend this package that we will shortly be voting on as it relates to small business. The record goes on to read, what we now have is that we allow you to make that application, and with that application, if you need to get cash immediately, this is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Grant, the SBA can write you a check for up to $10,000. We want that done within 3 days. We want that money out in days, not weeks. We hear that all the time from small businesses. We need help now. I was pleased to work on this program. I filed legislation on it. This is a Democrat senator from Maryland, Ben Cardin. This is a need out there today and will be available to small business owners. And as you very well know, nobody got their economic injury disaster loan grant within 3 days' time. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to show you why, ladies and gentlemen, because according to the Nevada District Court, this is what it reads. This is their order when Lit Ventures was trying to have the Small Business Administration disperse the full $10,000 grant to its business. I cannot conclude that the language of the CARES Act prescribes a mandatory ministerial duty on the part of the SBA to fund an EIDL applicant's request for an emergency grant in any amount requested up to $10,000 and within 3 days of the request after considering only the applicant's self-certification of eligibility. The first paragraph, which does most of the heavy lifting for the emergency grant, is not even directed to the SBA. You know that. I've said that several times. It tells an applicant what it may do when applying for an EIDL in response to COVID-19. Ask the SBA to provide it in advance within 3 days of receiving the EIDL application. I've told you that several times. The CARES Act mandates that an applicant, a small business, may request that the Small Business Administration disperse a grant of up to $10,000. Does it read that Small Business Administration shall disperse that grant? And according to the Middle District Court of Florida, petitioners argue that the rule is arbitrary and capricious because Congress intended the SBA award EIDL grants based on the amount requested by the applicants, not the applicant's number of employees. This fails for two reasons. At this preliminary stage, for starters, the court already rejected petitioners' contention that respondent being the SBA, must provide EIDL grants in the amount requested by applicants up to $10,000. Section 110E of the CARES Act says only that applicants may request the SBA provide up to $10,000. It doesn't require the SBA to provide $10,000 or any amount requested. So the SBA enjoys discretion in determining EIDL grants amounts up to $10,000. So, I know a number of you are stating, oh, Javita Carranza broke the law. No, she didn't break any laws. Remember, she's just a worker bee. And the judge who wrote this order is Judge Roy B. Dalton. Let's take a look at Judge Roy B. Dalton. Take a look at this. Appointed by President Barack Obama. The judge who wrote the order from the Nevada District Court is Jennifer A. Dorsey, appointed by President Barack Obama. So it has nothing to do with being a Democrat, it has nothing to do with being a Republican, because they all work together to give the Small Business Administration the discretion to disperse the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Grant any way that they wanted. Nobody broke the law because they wrote the law in order to stop you, a small business owner, from receiving the full $10,000 Economic Injury Disaster Loan Grant as a legitimate small business. And now they're even failing to explicitly call for another round of these Economic Injury Disaster Loan Grants. Always talking about the Paycheck Protection Program. And it's not only Congress's fault, because even if Congress wrote the law this way, the SBA had discretion to disperse up to $10,000. So Javita Carranza could have stated, all right, small businesses need help, I can provide $10,000 for each small businesses. And even if she said no, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, could have ordered her, because remember, she is his employee. The administrator of the Small Business Administration is a cabinet level position. And I can go ahead and show you. Right here, this is on SBA.gov. Today, Javita Carranza began serving as the 26th Administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration. The President nominated Administrator Carranza to lead the SBA while she was serving as the 44th Treasurer of the United States in the U.S. House of Representatives, and U.S. Senate confirmed her with overwhelmingly bipartisan support on December 19th, 2019 and January 7th, 2020, respectively. Administrator Carranza, an Illinois native, becomes the highest-ranking Latina in the federal government with this cabinet-level position. Check it out now. President Donald J. Trump's cabinet includes Vice President Mike Pence and the heads of the 15 executive departments, including, but not limited to, the Small Business Administration. And just take a look at Ms. Carranza. She's right there. Administrator of the Small Business Administration, Javita Carranza. And that's why he always has her on her side. This is President Donald Trump's yes lady, ladies and gentlemen. So if he would have stated, small businesses need help desperately, disperse the full $10,000 economic injury disaster loan grant. He could have told her under wraps, or he could have signed an executive order. Either case, President Donald Trump failed to disperse the economic injury disaster loan grant to all legitimate small business applicants, to you, ladies and gentlemen, and Congress let him do it. So I want you to go ahead and reach out to spc.senate.gov, this is U.S. Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, and ask ranking member of this committee, Ben Cardin, Senator Ben Cardin, why have you not called for another round of the economic injury disaster loan grant and the SBA's full disbursement of the $10,000 economic injury disaster loan grant when you are speaking publicly, when you spoke today on CNBC. And you can also reach him at cardin.senate.gov. You've got the web addresses on the screen right now. Light them up and let them know that you demand, that you need to be equipped with the monetary ammunition that you need to save your businesses, to keep your employees on payroll so they can save and feed their families, to ultimately save this country. Let me know what you think. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Watch this video right here for more stimulus coverage. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, and click the bell notification to stay on top of my findings. May God bless you. May God bless the United States of America and everybody else on this planet. Talk soon.